Feeling like you're a whole heap of emotions? Getting distracted by other people's successes online? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the art of mastering your emotions in the 21st century. Now, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Michael Tabirade, high performance coach and mentor, and I help self-starters and ambitious professional millennials increase their productivity, enhance their performance, realize their priorities, and live their life on purpose. Now, if this is the first time that you've come to my YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And as always, all the links are in the description below. Now let's get to the video. Now, I'm sure you know what emotional intelligence is, and this was initially coined by a guy called Daniel H Coleman, who actually wrote a whole book in it. It's really interesting, but for those of you who don't like technical terms, yeah, stay away from the book. But really and truly, when speaking to different clients, emotional intelligence has been at the heart of some of their issues in terms of helping them manage some sort of like difficult situations in their life. And so in this video, I'm going to aim to explain what emotional intelligence is and how you can use it to better master your emotions. So let's get to the video. Now, I'm just going to read my phone very quickly. The definition for emotional intelligence is the capacity to be aware of, control of, and express one's emotions, and to handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and empathetically. Wow, what a tongue twister. I'm not gonna lie to you, but that's come from the Oxford Dictionary. In other words, really and truly, it's being aware of your emotions and knowing how to respond in different situations, but also to other people as well. Now, emotional intelligence is broken down into two main parts. The first part is the intrapersonal, and the second part being the interpersonal. So intra being inside or within, and inter is external or with others. So let's break those down even more. So focusing on intrapersonal stuff, we're looking at self-management and self-awareness. Now, self-awareness can be developed if you do certain practices that enable you to understand exactly what is happening within your surroundings, or at least get to a stage of being close to observing things from an objective standpoint. What do I mean by this? Well, if you practice things like meditation and body scans, or if you actually do daily reviews or even weekly reviews, if you have a coach or a mentor that allows you to recognize certain things that you didn't recognize before, then you are practicing the art of improving or increasing your self-awareness. Now, it always starts at self-awareness, because if you can't truly see what's in front of you because you have rose-tinted lenses in front of you, it's going to be very difficult for you to make changes for the better. And so in order for you to assume control, you need to stick to practices such as the ones I've just stated that enable you to increase your self-awareness. The second thing is self-management. Now, of course, if you get to that baseline based on that objectivity and that data you get from observing different things in your environment, then you start to be in a position of power, because you start making choices and decisions based on that information. In other words, if something bad happens in your life, then if you've practiced self-awareness, you can get to a stage of making changes. You can be a bit more adaptable. You can be a bit more resilient. You can be in a situation where things don't necessarily affect you a certain way. Now, in psychology, this is known as emotional agility, and I may do another video on emotional agility. But in essence, it's really being clear about your values and your principles and knowing how to act in accordance to those specific things, so you don't let things affect you heavily. And so that's what intrapersonal means when we break it down into self-awareness and self-management. And obviously, if you have these skills, you're in a position of power, really and truly, because many people suffer from not being able to manage their emotions effectively. Before I continue, comment below and let me know how you think one should increase or improve their emotional intelligence. Now let's get back to the video. The second part is interpersonal, as I stated before. Now again, this is broken down into two different bits. So you've got social awareness and you've got relationship management. So this is more about people, and the technical term for this is social intelligence. And so if we're focusing on social awareness, it's knowing how to respond to different people. So for example, showing empathy, knowing how and when to say things that are appropriate in order to make that person feel like you understand them, and talking to them in such a way where you're not making them feel silly or dumb or whatever it is. I feel like there are many people out there who don't show the right level of empathy when people are suffering from situations that are making them feel down. The second thing to add to that is being of service to others. So if you're being of service to others, you're enabling that individual to open up to you even more, be a bit more vulnerable with you, and even show more trust towards you. And so if you can develop that by virtue of those characteristics and those actions, you are improving your relationship. And again, in the coaching world, they say that if you allow more trust and more rapport to happen in one's life, then you're moving more in towards a transformational relationship or direction, which means you're going to strengthen that relationship rather than just having a transactional one where it's just all about, hey, how's it going? Yeah, not too bad, you? All of that rubbish that sometimes we see on WhatsApp. And so those are keys to helping improve your social awareness. Another thing that's really important, and this is something adopted from the coaching world, is using deep listening, not active, because active shows that, you may look like you're listening, but you're not actually listening. So using deep listening. And in addition to that, using effective and powerful questions. So questions that invoke a really heartfelt response, questions that enable the person to open up and express themselves in such a way where they feel like they can trust you. And so these are some things to think about when it comes down to social awareness. The next bit of interpersonal skills is relationship management. And this comes down to things like being an authentic leader, being able to work collaboratively with different people, being a change agent, being a facilitator. All these different things help you maintain relationships with different people. There are situations where even with our friends, we may be like, oh, it's their turn to sort of like contact me and all that kind of stuff. Don't worry, I get it. But in the same instance, are you letting situations define the characteristics that you actually want to have? And so when it comes to relationship management, you have to think to yourself, what is it that I'm trying to achieve here? What is it that I'm trying to do? So at the heart of all of this, it's important to be aware that it comes down to self-awareness. It comes down to being able to observe things and realize how you respond in different situations. Again, I've quoted this before by Viktor Frankl, where he basically says, between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose and decide. Simple as that. And so what that means is we need to be in that space so we can be aware of how we want to respond. So we have enough time to not, respond irrationally and respond in such a way where long term it's going to work out not just for you, but for the other person as well. And so this is how you master your emotions. It's by mastering emotional intelligence. And of course, if you want to check out the book, make sure to check the link in the description below and you can check it out for yourself. There's a lot of science back behind this, but it comes down to those basics. What are you doing to practice presence? What are you doing to make sure you observe other people? I mean, I forgot this little point. I mean, I think it's good to people watch. Okay? Watch what people do rather than what they say. Because if you can understand the psychology behind that, then you can better maneuver and influence people and yourself in such a way where you can get a specific result. And it's not just about getting results for your sake, but it's about win-win. That's what it's about at the end of the day. Now, emotional intelligence can be used both in the professional and social settings, and it's quite fitting that Valentine's Day is around the corner. And so if you're interested as a man in terms of how you can make your woman happy, then stay tuned and hit the subscribe button so you can get notified for that video. Even if you aren't a fella and you're quite curious as a woman, definitely stay tuned for that video. If you liked what I had to say in this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can get more videos like this. Until next time, understand, reach and expand. Peace.